Welcome to the Sarah Finkelstein Show, where the next 10 minutes can change your life. Also on Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. Here's Sarah.
Hi, I just came across a report that I want to share with you about the sandwich generation. Have you ever heard that term, sandwich generation? It has to do with people that are raising children and also having to deal with taking care of aging parents. A recent report found that 55% of adult children say they are not financially prepared to help their baby boomer parents cope with rising inflation and living expenses. Now, let's talk about the baby boomer generation. That refers to the people that were born between 1946 and 1964. And there are about 76 million baby boomers across the nation. Out of 1,500 adult children from this report, ages 40 to 55 across the country, known as the sandwich generation, this group faces the responsibilities of not only raising their children, but also serving as caregivers to their aging parents. Here are some statistics. More than a third of adult children say that they worry that their parents will become a financial burden to them. Nearly 60% say that they cannot afford any kind of professional elder care for their parents. Yet almost half admit they have never broached the subject of finances with their senior parents. A full 50% of them do not know how much debt their parents are carrying. People tend to be very private about their finances, even between children and their parents. And when I say children in this case, I'm talking about adult children and their older parents. 1 in 3 adult children is already assisting their parents financially. Here's another survey conducted in 2020 by Go Health Incorporated. This study explored Generation Xers and millennials' involvement in their parents' financial and healthcare needs. So let me backtrack. Who are the Generation Xers? Well, the Generation Xers are those individuals born between 1965 and 1976. So those individuals are currently in their mid 40s to mid 50s. And the millennials are those born between 1977 and 1997. Those are the individuals that are in their mid 20s to mid 40s. So these people are involved in their parents' financial and healthcare needs. The study found that 1 in 3 Generation Xers and millennials are supporting their parents financially. Nearly the same number are managing or helping to manage their parents' healthcare. The survey found that on average, they spend 12 hours a week managing their parents' healthcare by providing transportation, scheduling doctor visits, and explaining insurance claims. They also estimate that they will spend the next 14 to 16 years doing so. 2 in 5 spent more than $10,000 of their own money supporting their parents in 2020. The vast majority, 86% of Generation Xers and 82% of millennials, worry about having enough money to support themselves and their parents. Adult children will continue to feel the pressure for the foreseeable future. Every day, on average, 10,000 baby boomers, again, those are the people born between 1946 and 1964, reach age 65, and another 10,000 of them, of course, are turning 75. And as we get older, the risk of needing help becomes greater and greater. According to research by the Blackstone Group, an independent research firm, nearly 80% of middle-income baby boomers do not have any savings designated to cover their retirement care. I'm going to repeat that. Nearly 80% of middle-income baby boomers do not have any savings designated to cover their retirement care. A lot of people are looking forward to retirement, and they may not be aware that they need to allocate a big sum of money for their healthcare costs in retirement. And there are many studies that talk about these financial numbers. Meanwhile, 30 million boomers retired from the workforce during the COVID-19 pandemic. Saddled with college debt as well as rising inflation, and we know inflation is rising tremendously, and rising housing costs, those Generation Xers and millennials who still depend on their parents for financial assistance or housing may no longer be able to count on that support. So what can be done? Well, one thing is it all boils down to planning. I always talk about Benjamin Franklin's quote, which is, people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. And although these conversations about healthcare in retirement or healthcare in our later years is not a popular discussion by all means, and most of us would rather not have those discussions at all. But if we don't converse with our family and we don't make a plan so that we are not hurt by this, we will definitely have to deal with a crisis. So please have this important conversation with your parents, and parents, have this important conversation with your adult children. Because remember, when it comes to be and you need help, the first phone call that you will likely make is to your children, your adult children, asking for help. So have a plan in place, design a plan that works for you. Because if you have to pay for long-term care out of your own pocket at 100% of the cost, it could wipe you out. So remember, have these conversations with your relatives and get a plan in place. And also, I want you to know that I recently wrote my second book, which is to help those boomers that are turning 65 and becoming eligible for Medicare. By the way, this book is available on Amazon, or I could email it to you. If you want that, just text me, 561-302-5760, or you can go to www.caregiving, yourmedicarelady.com. Again, yourmedicarelady.com. And I want to make a shout out to TRC Voiceovers for the fine intro and outro that Tony did for us. Thank you so much.
Knowledge is power, but only when you implement what you've learned to your own benefit. Tune in next time for even more powerful tips on the Sarah Finkelstein Show.